October is here with the new 40,000 gem giveaway. 5 lucky winners will each win 8,000 gems. Any platform can win. Enter in the description down below. Hello everybody. We are here with your Poseidon mid lane guide. Poseidon loves the meta right now because he loves going fast, and Doom Orb helps him do it. So we're going to be grabbing our Mage's Blessing, 2 health potions, 3 mana potions, our tier 1 lost artifact going into a good old-fashioned Doom Orb, and a beat. Poseidon is a big, fat powerhouse damage dealing mid laner. He also sometimes gets played in the jungle as well as ADC. I would probably say in that order is his role superiority. So mid, then jungle, then ADC. You see him as a pretty common jungler when you need magical damage on your team, and there's nothing else available. So you're basically juggling between, well, do I play Ao Kuang or do I play Poseidon? And a lot of people just don't like Ao Kuang, so Poseidon often gets picked. Now, level 1, we are going to grab our Tidal Surge. This is our first ability. A lot of people grab Poseidon's Whirlpool at level 1. That is not the ability you should be grabbing. Your Tidal Surge is better. A lot of this comes down to the fact that it's only a 10-second cooldown. So what does this ability do? This is a line-based ability that is going to knock back targets hit and do damage to them. So this is a very small knock-up, but it is technically a knock-up. It's like a little pushback. Hello, Agni, who's going to dash through the way. This is also going to take 20% away from our tidal meter. So we should talk about tidal meter because that's going to interact with all of our Poseidon action. Tidal meter is our passive. The more that you land some auto attacks, if you watch my passive, boom, auto attack, boom. This is going to bring up my tidal meter. Currently, it is at max. Unfortunately, didn't get either of those. That tidal meter is going to affect our abilities as well as our movement. And so what it is going to do exactly is it is going to give you ability damage, up to 20% additional ability damage at max tide, which is awesome. So you want to keep that tide stacked. It's also going to give you up to 15% movement speed, which is fantastic, and up to 10% more basic attack damage. So you want this thing on you all the time. And so how this works is that your abilities are going to take away your Tidal Surge. So you can see this is minus 30% on your ulti, 20% on your 3, minus 20% on your 1. And your auto attacks build up your Tidal Surge. Your abilities take it away, your auto attacks give it to you, which puts your 2 in a fun spot because your 2 actually is going to give you more autos, which is going to help you build it up even faster. So we should talk about our third ability now, Whirlpool. Whirlpool is what it sounds like. It throws down a whirlpool on the floor. This ability takes a moment before it does its first tick of damage, so it has a little animation that it plays before it starts ticking, and this is important to us because this is a damage over time. It slowly sucks people to the middle, and it cripples targets in the area. So if I throw this on, say, Agni, he can't dash. But you can see, that was actually a literally perfect example from Agni. I threw out my 3 and the animation started, but he still dashed. It's because it wasn't completely out yet. It takes about half a second for that ability to actually fully deploy, thus actually doing the damage and crippling somebody. So keep that in mind and try not to get baited by your own Whirlpool. Third, we've got our Trident ability. This ability is what lets a lot of Poseidon players, when they want to go ADC, this is kind of what they're basing that strategy off of. It also helps a lot in the jungle as well. This ability is going to buff up your auto attacks for the next 6 seconds. You are going to get increased movement speed and increased base damage per hit. Your auto attacks are going to fire 2 additional shots. So instead of just your 1 shot, this is going to fire out 3 unique different shots. You can land all 3 shots on the same target. That is fine, and in fact is encouraged. That's where you get a lot of the damage from on this ability. So this is often an ability that is used to either build up your tidal meter or to catch up to enemies, or to burn down something right in front of you. This tidal meter is, or excuse me, this ability isn't super effective from long range because you can see how your auto attack will kind of spread out, but right in the point blank range, you're gonna hit the left, right, and middle sections of this. Fun little fact about this ability, just a little tidbit. The middle portion of this ability is still your regular auto. The left and right side of this ability are actually considered an ability. And so this is actually a rare ability in Smite that is basically an auto attack and an ability because of the way that it works. So like the middle portion can proc auto attack based effects, and the outside of it can proc ability based effects. It doesn't really matter, but it's just kind of like a fun little Poseidon tidbit. It is unique in that manner. And then finally, we have our ultimate, our Kraken, which is a big fat circle. This big fat circle is going to summon the Kraken. Inside, you're going to see that there's two circles on this ability. The inner ring and the outer ring. The outer ring does a lot less damage than the inner ring. If you hit somebody in that inner ring, you're going to get a bunch more damage. Plus, you are also going to get a knockup on this ability. I'm going to pop my 2 and start trying to run away from all of these boys that are trying to say hello to me. I'm going to throw down a Kraken behind myself just to peel. So the outside of this ability is just going to do damage. It is also a slow, but if you hit him in the center of the ability, it does a lot more damage on top of the regular damage. Plus, it is a solid stun. It's very nice. It's technically also a knockup too. I don't know if I mentioned that. Yeah, bounced into the air and stun. Also known as a knockup. I don't know why they don't just call it a knockup. It's weird that they mention the knockup part in this part of the ability. Okay, you're getting really... This is why we don't be rude, ladies and gentlemen. This is why we don't be rude. Because then you embarrass yourself. So for our traditional leveling order, we grab our 1 at level 1, but we don't max it. And I think this is why people get confused when they grab their Whirlpool level 1. You do want to max Whirlpool because it does become your best wave clear ability. It's also the ability that you're typically going to combine with your Kraken in order to get damage off on gods. But at level 1, you want to make sure you do grab that Tidal Surge because it is better clear at level 1. So then we're going to level our ulti whenever we can. 4, then 3. And then you actually do have a little bit of options between leveling the 2 and the 1. Some people like to level up the Tidal Surge. I would prefer you get in the habit of leveling your Trident second. Your Trident actually gets a lot of benefit from being upgraded compared to your Tidal Surge, which is only going to get a little bit more damage. When you rank up your 2, you're going to get reduced cooldown on the ability, increased movement speed, as well as the increased base damage hit. So I would like you to go 4, 3, 2, 1. If you go 4, 3, 1, 2, it's not the end of the world, but you should really get in the habit of going 4, 3, 2, 1 for your leveling order on Poseidon. Once again, you can see the Agni kind of dashing out of that ability, even though it was already appearing below his feet. It's because it's that little build-up time. So Poseidon, because he has so much movement speed in his kit, right? You get so much movement speed from your passive when you have your meter built up. You also get so much movement speed from your 2 being popped. This allows you to have a lot of rotation potential. So Poseidon is one of the gods like Ra that can really start to rotate around the map. Once you get to this portion of the game where you're level 9, you got a lot of burst damage. After you clear a wave, you can really start moving left to right because you've just got so much movement speed. You can try to make it over there. Your left tower is under attack. You can make it over there and still get back to your wave before you miss anything. So I get to rotate all the way over to duo lane, and then I'm gonna run back to mid lane right as the mid lanes are meeting. You can abuse this mechanic, and you should be abusing this mechanic on Poseidon. Now, you don't have to make a rotation for a gank every single time you're doing this, but maybe you make a really far rotation just to get some extra farm. Maybe you go steal their purple buff or something. that is totally fine as well. But just keep in mind, it does give you the opportunity to go looking for things that a lot of other mid laners won't be able to do, like Ra, Cuckoo, Poseidon, probably the most notable, that are able to kind of throw down an ability that's clearing the wave and then just kind of skedoodle out.
Be right back.
So for our build, as always, right now in the mid lane, we are grabbing our Mage's Blessing and our cooldown boots, which is going to give us 20% CDR on everybody, which is wonderful. And then, as is standard as well, we're going to be grabbing that Doom Orb. Doom Orb right now, such a stat-efficient item for mid laners, and it's also going to help us with those rotations that we're trying to make. Wow, that was almost really annoying. So we grab that Doom Orb, and now, so Poseidon is a very, very unique god. He is one of the few I would call real hybrid mages right now. Because of that second ability, Trident, where you get all this auto attack damage, Poseidon is genuinely good with some of the rings. And so his builds can get a little funky, but I would recommend always getting Telkine's ring on Poseidon, because you're gonna get so much damage just from that one item on Poseidon. So even if you're not gonna commit to a full ring build, that's totally fine. I don't think you need to. I would recommend getting a Telkine's ring just for the pure damage aspect on both objectives like the Gold Fury, as well as on players. Your Trident is one of the best abilities in the game for burning down an objective. I think it often surprises people how fast that ability, when you're hitting all three of those autos with every auto, will burn down something like the gold, even the Pyromancer or whatever. So we're going to be going into Telkine's third item this game, because I don't feel like we're going to need a ton of pen early. So then I'm going to get some fourth item pen going on. Go ahead and knock back Achilles off me just a little bit. Get me outside of that range. And I'm just going to go ahead and back up, because I can get my second active. For our standard combination on Poseidon, it is simply going to be our 3, and then our ultimate, being careful not to throw down the 3 ulti and accidentally miss our Kraken, because we didn't quite get the cripple effect yet on our Whirlpool. Reminder for those that don't remember what a cripple does: a cripple prevents you from using any movement abilities. So it doesn't stop you from using like a Kukulkan Slither, because that's just giving you movement speed. It stops you from using something like a leap or a dash, anything of that sort. It also doesn't stop any CC immune abilities, like a Pele ult or anything like that. Or an Achilles ult is a great example, because he's in this game. So our standard combination is just going to be that 3 and then that ulti right with each other. If we don't have our ultimate up, that is fine. Our Whirlpool does a lot of damage by itself. We can always throw down our Whirlpool. Woo! And then we get up in melee range, smack them with our 2 or a Tidal Surge. Oftentimes, Tidal Surge is going to be used as a defensive ability. Because this has a small knockback on it, it means that if somebody is getting in melee range on you, you can throw down your 1. So I have these melee creeps on me, I throw down my 1, and it's going to slightly push them away and just develop a little bit of distance between me and the enemy. Especially because we're leveling it last, it's not going to do nearly as much damage as our 2, 3, or 4. So it also lets you save it as a nice defensive ability if you need it. It's also really on a short cooldown. I mean, 8 seconds, because we've got 20% CDR right now. For gods that Poseidon likes to go against, Poseidon loves to go against characters that are reliant on leaps. He absolutely, positively loves it. He also likes going against gods that use dashes, but particularly leaps. Cripples are the absolute bane of anybody who uses a leap's existence, particularly those that have a leap and no CC immunity. So a god like Anhurt can get countered by the cripple, but he also has a CC immune ultimate that can help him potentially get out of it without having to like burn up beads or something. Somebody like an Achilles has his dash, but he also has a CC immune ultimate to get out of it. Somebody like Agni, he has no way to get out of the cripple unless he uses his beads or if he manages to dash right before that cripple goes off. So right now we're going over the Gold Fury. I'm going to pop my 2 and we are going to do a lot of damage. We just actually back up though because they have this thing warded, which is fine. We forced the Rama ulti, no worries there. I'm actually going to try to move over towards Rama. I wanted to put down a Whirlpool underneath his feet when he came down, but not going to be able to get in the range of that. Holy bajolies! We're going to get double blinked on by a Achilles and a Robin. So for gods that Poseidon is not good against, we actually have a prime example in this match, which is Robin. Robin is a disaster for Poseidon. Poseidon does not like going against people that have a lot of CC immunity or damage avoidance. So Robin can easily ultimate over your Kraken or ulti to you. He can easily use his overhand kick to avoid all the damage on that. He has a lot of ways to prevent you from doing any sort of damage. Another notable character that does quite well against Poseidon is Chang'e. Same kind of concept. She can just always avoid a lot of the damage that he is outputting. So you got to watch out for characters that have immunities built into their kit, because for all intents and purposes, it's like a really short cooldown Aegis. And Aegis is detrimental for Poseidon because it really stops your giant wombo combo. Your objective secure is also going to be typically your Kraken. So when you're doing something like a fire giant, or if you're having a contested objective secure, you're going to be using your ultimate in order to secure that. You can throw out your 1 first if you time it right, and depending on your distance away, you can throw down your 1 and then your Kraken, and those can hit the objective at the same time, giving you even a little bit more damage. Oftentimes though, it's just going to be your ultimate. Let's head over towards that Pyromancer right now. We can burn that down really quick. Gonna save my 1 to interrupt the Pyro when he does his little shenanigan. So now that we've got the Telekind's Ring online, we've got a lot of damage. We have a little bit of bonus attack speed for our 2, so we can get even more damage utilization out of that. Gotta use my 2 defensively here to give me that movement speed to run away. And now we're going to start moving our way into some penetration. We're going to be grabbing ourselves a Karen's Coin. Karen's Coin going to give us that potential for some even more movement speed. That movement speed stacking with our Doom Orb, stacking with our boots, bada bing, bada boom. We're going to be the fastest fish on this side of the Mississippi. Nobody is going to be able to catch us. Poseidon does not have any built-in getaway skills. All of his abilities are offensive in nature. So you have to be really careful with that. They're going to get dove by an Achilles all game, though. That's okay. We're going to start working on our Karen's Coin now. Once we get that online, we'll have a lot more pen to help deal with the front line Achilles coming right at us. Coming right at us. Should be mentioned as well, another pretty good active against Poseidon is Blink. Poseidon likes to keep some distance between you and him with all the movement speed that he has in his kit. If he can try to keep you out of that melee range, then he can keep you from damage. If you blink right in on Poseidon, then you kind of take away his ability to zone you out. So if you're playing like the jungle role against a Poseidon, going into that blink is going to help close that distance between you and Poseidon, and help you get some extra pressure on him, because it can be quite hard to chase down a Poseidon. In that same regard, slows are usually not the way to go against Poseidon. He's usually so fast that slowing him down honestly isn't even that relevant. So you're looking for hard CC against him. You're looking for stuns, you're looking for roots, anything that can prevent him from physically moving will help you. So like the Achilles stun, Agni Bomb combo, whatever, all great.
I'll attack left lane.
Get Poseidon to stop moving for just 1 second, and then typically he's going to be quite squishy, and you can just put him down. I feel like I just watched Agni dash right there, so I'm just gonna walk over to him, and I'm pretty sure he also used his Aegis in that last little engagement that we had, so I'm gonna be able to grab that kill right there. We had the vision with the minions, which allowed me to see that he had dashed on the map because his icon moved really fast, so then I can just walk up and grab that kill, although it was still close because Agni does a lot of damage. Don't you ever forget. Now we can get that Karen's coin online. Got some good movement speed, got some good power, got some good CDR, some auto attack damage, some ability damage. Right now we've got a nice, well-rounded build. For Poseidon's abilities, your 1 does go through walls. I don't think a lot of people realize that, but you can technically secure a kill through the wall with that ability. Your 3 also can be thrown over walls, as well as your Kraken through some small walls as well. And of course, your Trident is just an auto attack, so this thing is not going to go through walls. But 3 out of 4 of your abilities do go through walls. It's a little bit risky throwing down abilities through walls as Poseidon, particularly your Kraken. If you don't have vision, if you're trying to predict it, oftentimes you'll see people just kind of throw down like a Whirlpool over a wall. Willy-nilly. That's great because you're just going to get some nice poke on somebody, and you might even make them panic that, oh no, is a Kraken gonna come out? So they might even like force an active. But for the most part, you want to have vision before you use your Kraken. Don't just throw it over a wall willy-nilly. But if you've got vision on somebody, boy golly, throw it over that wall. Nothing wrong with that. Speaking of throwing it over a wall, how about right now on this Sobek? Because he's in his ulti, I know he can't avoid it at all. I'm going to trust my Dodgy to land this over the wall, so I'm going to go ahead and throw down my Whirlpool, so that way the Agni comes through, and he is immediately crippled on the floor the second he came through. That was a great Dodgy all right there. Trusting your team to land their abilities. Speaking of trusting people to land their abilities, when you're pairing gods with Poseidon, if you're trying to make something work with them, you're looking for setup gods. Poseidon falls into that category of big, fat money ults. So you want to give him some nice setup. Maybe it's a Nezha, a Kumbhakarna, Daji. Her ulti is great for setting me up. Shinken ult is great for setting me up. If you're playing those side rolls and you want to get them nice and big, give him one of those classic setup pull gods that puts somebody in a nice consistent spot, so that way your fishy boy doesn't even have to consider aiming his ability. He just knows exactly where they're going to end up, just like the Daji did for me. Looking over towards Robin right now. Robin don't care about my Whirlpool literally at all, because he can just overhead smash, overhead kick out of it. I'm gonna throw down a Whirlpool right onto Rama's feet. Unfortunately, he doesn't quite get out in time. He's gonna get some damage on the Sobek back here. I'm pretty sure that Rama's dash is down. I don't want to Kraken the Sobek right now because I think we can get this kill without it. So I'm going to save it for somebody else. I'm going to throw down the Kraken here for Achilles. That does force him to use his ultimate. We pick up the Daji picks up that Rama. There we go. Because I used my ulti on him, and his ulti is now down. Cupid can use his on him, get that bead down, and then we get the kill through the wall with our 1 that we discussed earlier. Should be able to grab a mid Phoenix off of this as well. All right, let's go to the Fire Giant. To the Fire Giant. So what is your job as Poseidon in these team fights? Well, you are a standard mage, so you are trying to kill their damage dealers, if at all possible. If you land a Kraken right up like on their Agni, he's pretty much going to get one shot. No way for him to deal with that unless he has like an Aegis up or a way to dash out of the ability. But that is not oftentimes how it goes. A lot of the time you're going to be getting zoned out. In my case this game, I'm getting a lot of Robin and Achilles pressure on me, which means that I'm going to spend a good bit of my fights just kind of peeling for myself, trying to get as much damage on them as I can. Now, you shouldn't be afraid to fight back against the tanks. As long as you've got some pen in your build, whether you went a demonic grip because you wanted to go a little bit more auto attacky, whether you go the Karen's coin or the Ob shard to go a little bit more traditionally mage, it doesn't matter. You will have very nice damage against those frontline tanks, particularly with your Trident ability. I think you will surprise yourself with how much auto attack damage you can do with it, even if you're not going a particularly auto attack build. Next up, I'm going to grab myself a Rod of Tahuti just to get a bunch more flat damage out, and I'm also going to increase my actives here before I grab my 6th item. I've been getting dove a lot by the Raven, by the Achilles. I'm feeling like I'm going to need these actives up a whole lot. I don't think that I need anything particularly item-wise to keep me alive at this next Phoenix fight, but if this Phoenix fight doesn't go great and I have to use all my actives, I would like to have them back up before our next engagement. So I'm gonna upgrade those first before selling my Mage's Blessing and grabbing that 6th item. Feeling a little vulnerable against this game. They do have some decent gods against Poseidon. So at this Phoenix fight, I'm just looking to get some poke off. Trying to hold that Kraken for a little bit until I see a nice opportunity. Nothing wrong with just throwing out 1s and 3s and getting a bunch of damage on people. Gonna do plenty of damage with my 1 and my 3. Throwing down the Whirlpool over there on Rama. I'm pretty sure Agni has his dash down, so I'm gonna throw down my ulti right over there towards him. Looks like he's gonna go down within that fountain range, and we have to just go ahead and end the game. I was gonna say we could try to keep this one going for the guide, but now they're dead for 40 seconds. There's no way to not end this one. So we go ahead, walk right into that Phoenix range, just using our 3 and our 1 for poke, saving our ulti for a little bit later. Poseidon ult, much like all the other big ults in the game, if you see an opportunity for like a 2+ man ulti, you take it every time. If you can 2-man Kraken, even if it's some of their tankier characters, you get a nice Whirlpool Kraken off on a support solo, doesn't matter. If you can take out 2 people and turn a fight and make it 5v3, that is absolutely worth using your ultimate there. Otherwise, I wouldn't at the end of the game like solo Kraken the support by himself. Probably not going to be the most efficient use of it. You're going to want it up for the team fight, but if you can get 2 or more people, regardless of whatever combination of people that is going to be, get that ulti off, take those pick-offs, so that way you can take a 5v3. For finishing up that build, we would have been getting rid of our Mage's Blessing. We then would have had a couple of options there. We could have gone into another ring. Demonic Grip and Hasten Fatalis both come to mind. Demonic Grip would have been totally fine if I needed more % penetration in that game, if they were getting even extra tanky, but probably not that game because you can see the Raven was pretty squishy. So a Hasten ring would have been great to make me even more annoying, even harder to catch for those melee guys that were trying to chase me down. It would give me that hasten effect for 8 seconds, allow me to run around and stay out of their range. Also, items that you can keep in mind as well are some other typical mage damage items. Never be afraid to go into any of those. And of course, if you needed a defense item, you guessed it, it's that Mantle of Discord sitting right there for you. If I'm getting blinked on by the Raven and he's like instant killing me with like a 3-1 combo, and then I can't get him off of me because he's overhead kicking, and so he just dodges my Kraken, well then it puts one more little CC in my kit to try to get myself away from that. Standardly though, you want to embrace the movement speed aspect on Poseidon, so I would probably go something like a Hasten Ring to try to help you live there instead of a Mantle of Discord, guys. And that is our Poseidon guide.